Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Legend, and I am back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. What if Naruto grew up Merciless remake, the end of this series? Now, there will be more series to come. There will be other series that I still have to finish. So, don't be too sad that this series is ending. Now, if you guys like the videos and you want more of this type of content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it, hit that bell icon, and turn on post notifications. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if. Alright guys, we start this episode off with Naruto, who landed hard in his Kurama construct with Araya. Naruto panted as he tapped his earpiece. Ino! Ino! Naruto got no response and he started to panic. Ino, please pick up. He finally got a response as her voice came in strained. You're 13 minutes late, Baka. Naruto was full of relief. Thank God she was fine. Is everyone okay? In what section of the rubble are you trapped in? All of you. His earpiece crackled. Itachi's still breathing. Tsunade is fine, but in the same condition. Hanabi and Temaheim is fine, but Ino started to sob. Majority of my family has been killed along with my dad. The Nara clan is also nearly extinct. Hanabi killed Shikaku because he put all of us in danger, and Shikamaru died from the collapse. And we're all in the far right of the outpost where the war room is. Now hurry up and dig. It's dark and it's starting to become difficult to breathe down here. Meanwhile, in the hidden stone, Jiraiya looked up at the Tsuchikage, who flew above the stone tower. He was raggedy, no shoes, and he just looked unkept. Was this really the same Kage? He wasn't even a challenge for him anymore. He could tell Inoki was starving himself based on his look. He wasn't going to fight Inoki. Anko could do this with Sai. He was going to deal with the other two heavy hitters. Just then, he jumped away, dodging a lava ball as he went through some hand signs. Summoning Jutsu! Han and Roshi looked up at the giant boss toad that towered above them before they transformed, going full Biju. Inoki went to help, but he was cut off by Sai. I can't let you interfere. Your fight is with us. Meanwhile, with Sasuke and others, the four of them made it to Kumo. Konan instantly took to the sky and started releasing paper bombs when a blue streak of lightning came at her fast as Kakashi cut it off, slamming it out of the sky. You dare come to my village and you think you'll leave alive? I will slaughter you all! Kakashi lifted his headband as his Sharingan spun to Mangekyo. Big talk, coming from someone who was bested by my students. Kakashi moved as his Sharingan spun and burgundy lightning coated his hand. A moved as well, going at his top speed, looking to end this in one go. Lariat! Kamui Lightning Blade! The two passed each other. A fell to the ground, eyes open wide, as his lightning armor faded. There wasn't even a final breath, he just died. Kakashi fell to one knee. as he crushed the heart he was holding in his hands. I didn't think that would work. Now I have two of my very own jutsus. Kakashi estimated that he could use that jutsu around 4 more times, but he would need to be smart with it due to the amount of chakra that it consumed. Konan continued to release paper bombs as more Kumo shinobi started to try and stop her. What's the point? We already lost. Raikage-sama just died without a fight. We stand no chance, said a Kumo Jonin. Many others looked at said Jonin. You're wrong. There is a point to all of this. We still have the Guardian of Kumo, Killer Bee. As long as we have him, there is still hope for us. Those words quickly rose the morals of the people as they all began to cheer before Gaara stepped forward along with a giant wave of sand. Those who are shinobi, we plan to take no prisoners. This will be a complete extermination of all Kumo shinobi and kunoichi. Gaara dropped the wave of sand, intending to crush all the people in front of him. They did little to avoid it. They had the weakness of this guy in their back pocket. A chorus of water and lightning style rang out, making the sand virtually useless. Gaara's lip twitched in annoyance. As I thought, it takes little for you to counter me when I use my sand. However, I have more than just that Kekkei to use in this fight. Gaara went through hand signs. Wind style, wind dragon. A large dragon of wind poured from his gourd and coiled around Gaara as he stood there with his hands folded. Find a way to get past this, and there will be more deadly jutsu that will follow. One would think that a fire style jutsu would work, but they'd be wrong. The way the wind moved and spun in the dragon made it so that if a fire jutsu hit it, it would just harmlessly disperse. On top of that, the dragon had its own will to attack and defend. The lightning shinobi thought nothing of the dragon coiled around the sand user. As they launched jutsu after jutsu at him, the dragon constricted and rotated as it blocked all of the pathetic jutsu that came at its owner, not losing an ounce of its size. Then the dragon moved and uncoiled as it shot forward, as it simply phased through many shinobi, and they soon fell over into chunks of gore as others looked on in horror. The dragon returned to Gaara as it coiled around him again as he spoke. When your sister is the best wind style user in all of the elemental nations, you pick up on a thing or two. This is actually her technique. The only difference is that my version is far weaker than hers. The dragon constricted and moved as it shot forward, confusing Gaara. He then saw it swallow a black ball that was shooting towards Konan, who was now exhausted from releasing so many exploding notes. The dragon then constricted onto itself as it started to glow before it imploded on itself, minimizing the effects of the offensive jutsu. That's Killer Bee's tailed beast bomb! The shinobi all began to cheer as they parted and created a path for Killer Bee to walk through. In the distance, they all saw a shrinking form before Killer Bee started to walk. Kakashi saw this as he stood ready to face Bee, but a hand was placed on his shoulder as Sasuke walked past him. I got this one. I'm the only one here that can keep up with him at his strongest. Your summons won't work, Kakashi. Both Sasuke and B stopped several feet from each other. Akumo Shinobu ran at Sasuke, trying to cause some sort of damage, but he exploded, leaving nothing left, shocking the Kumo Nin. Konan stood to her feet. If anyone tries to intervene, you will meet the same fate. There's enough exploding tags on all of you to destroy this entire village. Sasuke had a faint smirk on his face. He was confident that he'd win. They say the Sharingan can predict the movement of others, but my movements are both fast and random. I'll give you 3 minutes at best. Sasuke laughed at the dumbass that stood before him. He calmed himself before he smiled and activated his Sharingan. Yes, you're right. You may be fast. You may be able to move erratic. But that's only for the base level of a mature Sharingan. Maybe even an early Mangekyo. Sasuke closed his eyes again. Let me give you a history lesson on the Sharingan. If you don't know, it was first awakened with the Sage of Six Paths, who later unlocked the Rinnegan. Fast forward, and he had two sons, one who gained the power of the Sharingan, and the other who gained the physical capabilities of the Sage, along with a new bloodline that is rarely seen. But let's talk About Indra, the one who awakened the eyes of the Uchiha, the eyes that we are known for. Before his eyes came into play, he was on par with his brother, who was more than skilled. Once he awakened the Sharingan, his capabilities far surpassed the capabilities of his brother. In each spar, Indra would win, unharmed, forcing his brother to improve his own ability. But Indra's eyes slowly started to change him. He began to see people like they were beneath him. He became arrogant, and he became obsessed with power. Fast forward, and his younger sibling was chosen as the Sage's successor, and Indra didn't like that. Now, at this time, even though Indra was obsessed with power, he was now weaker than his brother. Indra decided to kill both his father and brother out of hate. He knew that his eyes could still evolve. So that night, he killed his two best friends. That simple action gave him a substantial boost in power, along with more abilities for his visual prowess. Even with all of that, in the end, he still lost and was forced to go elsewhere. And the Uchiha clan soon started with him and his wife. Along with his visual prowess, he also passed down his curse of hatred, thus making the Uchiha bloodline an emotional one. But that isn't the only thing that remained of him. His chakra, along with his brother's chakra, still remained in a living body to this day. The previous owner of such chakra being Madara Uchiha. It's not much, but it's enough to get any job done when needed. Not to mention that even a novice Uchiha would be able to do unimaginable things with the visual prowess passed down from our common ancestor. Killer Bee felt a cold sweat run down his head. He was starting to get a bad feeling from this rather extensive lesson. Why does this serve a relevance? Sasuke started to chuckle as he slowly opened his eyes, revealing his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. It serves a relevance because I already have full mastery of both Mature 3 Tomo and Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, including all of the abilities these eyes come with, not to mention the current holder of Indra's chakra is me. Yes, I am the reincarnation of Indra Otsutsuki, or Indra Uchiha. And now, the chakra that resides in me is now at full availability to me because I no longer follow the path of other Uchiha and don't let my hatred consume me. At that point, at that very moment, Sasuke's Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan started to morph as it became the design of a whirlpool. It was the design of Indra's Mangekyo Sharingan. A heavy pressure fell upon everyone as they were all slammed into the ground. B looked up only to see the pair of red and black whirlpools as one word was said. Tsukuyomi. B let out a pained scream as his body was enveloped in a red chakra that seeped out of him non-stop. You now belong to the village hidden in the leaves. Kumo will no longer be a threat to us as a military power. Sasuke then turned and walked away. Indra's Sharingan still active as the Eight Tails pulled free from B and obediently followed Sasuke. The rest of the Kumo shinobi stood there, shock and fear clearly evident. He just took B out as if he was a mere child. They all swallowed as they looked at the remaining S-rank Konoha shinobi that stood in front of them. All of the frightened shinobi dropped to their knees as a sign of defeat. There was no longer any point in fighting. They stood no chance. They all then saw a lot of paper tags coming from all over the village as they all merged back with Konan. You all know that you can't win, even with all of your numbers. We have quality. We didn't want to kill you all, but we would have if needed. We only needed to show you that you can't compare to us. We didn't want this war. It was started by the greed of your Kage. Now, the war with Kumo is over. There will not be another war with us because plans to stop that in the future has already been put into motion. Go home and spend the rest of your time with your families and think about how close to death all of you were. After Kakashi finished his monologue, he sucked everyone away into a kamui, leaving the Kumo shinobi there, right where they stood. Meanwhile, Naruto panted as he finally pulled the last person out of the collapse. Tsunade was finally up as she kneeled over Itachi, healing him as she poured a lot of her chakra, trying to heal him. Itachi looked like shit as his half-lidded eyes squinted as the tissue of his skin slowly stitched back together. Naruto's earpiece then crackled. Naruto, where are you right now? It was Shisui. I'm currently in Fire Country at the forward operation base. I had to get everyone out due to a collapse. Shisui was surprised about the collapse. Right. I'm sending Kurenai, Konohamaru, and Sakura your way. Uncle called for backup at the stone. Naruto snapped his head up. Was Anko in trouble? She was capable, trained by two of the most powerful shinobi in history. If she needs backup, then she must not be doing too well. Naruto instantly stood as he groaned. His chakra coils were under a lot of stress from the output of chakra he kept putting out when he was already near empty. Naruto nearly fell over, but he was instantly caught by Araya. Hey, what's going on? Naruto looked down at the shorter woman. Anko needs help. Araya sighed. The things he would do and the distance he'd go to help those who he cared for. You're in no condition to go. You will collapse before you even make it there. Naruto pushed himself up. It doesn't matter. If she's in trouble, then I need to go and help. If I'm not needed here, then I need to be there. Araya shook her head. No, stay here and relax. You already did near impossible things today. Don't hurt someone else by being reckless and getting yourself killed, because it won't only be painful to all of them, but to me as well. I'll go for you. Stay here and rest and have your chakra coils checked. Araya then stepped back as she pulled her sleeve up a bit and bit her thumb and wiped a bit of blood onto the summoning tattoo. There was a giant poof of smoke before it was all blown away. There stood a massive dragon, all black with silver accents and red eyes. On top was Araya as the dragon took flight and began to fly off, with Kurenai and the backup squad. They sat on the head of Enma as the giant Monkey King made his way. They then came across a rather strange sight. The Eight Tails was making its way towards them. They saw the strange Sharingan pattern in its eye. What was even stranger was that Sasuke sat on the head of the Biju. Kurenai radioed Chisui, giving him the information before Enma jumped off again. They were upon Naruto but didn't stop. They had to keep going. They needed to get to the hidden stone, and they would arrive in another 35 minutes. Time skip. Araya stood over two dead Jinchuriki with Jiraiya by her side. A lot of other bodies lay around. All of them were in a worse condition than the two previous Biju holders. Meanwhile, Anko and Sai had Inoki tied and on his knees, and Yugao and the others had other shinobi on their knees as well. The number of shinobi lost on the stone side of the war was a lot. The Mist lost many shinobi as well, but it was far less due to the Konoha shinobi being there to make up for the weakness of all the Mist shinobi. With the Konoha shinobi, very few of them had perished, one being Asuma Saratobi, a Jonin that was only a B rank in the bingo book. The others, well, to other people his skill may be impressive, but considering that he was a leaf ninja, he was practically just a joke. He was the only B rank shinobi in Konoha that was a Jonin. All of the other Jonin in Konoha were either A or S rank. So to the Leaf as a whole, he wasn't really a big loss. The rest were a few Chunin. Araya gave a short speech, saying that they could have easily wiped every stone ninja off of the face of the planet, destroyed the entire village in one combo attack, but didn't, making the shinobi see the difference in power. They didn't want another war, but to be peaceful with one another. The Stone Shinobi knew all she said was true, but Anoki wasn't having any of this. You want peace. You won't get it. Not from us. We will never submit to the leaf. Araya's patience was already gone, and with a point of her finger and a whisper of a single word, a thin stream of lightning shot through his head as he crumbled to the floor, dead. Don't be like this pathetic excuse of a Kage and let your craziness rule your thoughts. As you see, even he can't stand against the quality of Konoha Shinobi. Think of everything I have said. Go back to your families in the underground bunkers, and the Leaf will assist on rebuilding the parts of the village we helped destroy. And if another war comes to play with you as an enemy to the Leaf, we have enough shinobi that can come and destroy this village alone. But don't let my threat force you to keep the peace. She then went through hand signs and slammed her hand on the floor and summoned the dragon. This one was a deep crimson with a yellow accent that looked gold and black wings and yellow eyes. All of you, release them and let them go. When you're done, get on. We will go back to Konoha. Time skip. 2 weeks after the stress of war, Naruto sat down on the couch and held his head as he, Anko, and Ino had just got back from the funeral of all of the lost shinobi. Anko soon sat down next to him with a bottle of wine as she drank from the bottle before passing it to Naruto as he drank. Ino then sat down next to the two and she snatched the bottle and drank some before coughing and choking. Anko laughed as she took the bottle back. "You okay, Ino?" Ino looked at Naruto and smiled. "I'm fine. Just glad everything is over." Naruto nodded. He felt the same way. "You didn't shed a tear at the funeral." The blonde woman sighed. "To be honest, I don't have any tears left to cry. I already did all my crying and grieving the week prior." Naruto nodded as he turned to Anko. "What about you, Anko?" Anko put the bottle down. "Yeah, I'm good. Even though it took me some time to get up on my feet again after you removed the seal from me." Naruto nodded as he rubbed his temples. Anko grabbed the bottle again and took a larger sip and walked over to Ino before straddling her. "What are Ino's eyes went wide as Anko locked lips with her as she started to feed her the wine that was in her mouth as Ino had to swallow it. When the two separated, both of them were blushing heavily as Naruto, well, he was also a bit pink on the face. "Hey Naruto, I don't think I got to thank you properly after you removed my seal." Anko locked lips with Ino again as Ino seemed to be enjoying it along with Anko as the two lapped at each other's lips, tongues, and saliva. Just from looking, Naruto was starting to get extremely aroused. As his eyes remained fixed on the scene, the two women stopped to catch their breath before Ino spoke. Naruto? Do you need a written invitation or something?" Naruto only let out a huh as Anko and Ino laughed at his facial expression. Anko got off of Ino as she grabbed Naruto and Ino by the hand and led them to the master bedroom. Upon opening the door, they saw Ayame on the bed in a much too sexy blouse as she lay on the bed in a seductive manner. Naruto saw this and he knew right then and there that the three of them had planned all of this. He didn't know when or how they got Ino in on it, but he knew they planned this. But he wasn't going to complain at all. Naruto was led to the bed as Ayame occupied his lips with hers. Before Naruto could react, chains burst from the bed and tied him to the bed as his arms and legs were pulled to the four corners of said bed. Naruto was shocked, and Ayame, Ino, and Anko stood with a grin before they turned to each other and started to strip each other. "Oh shit," said Naruto. The way they stripped each other was very erotic, using their teeth and delicate fingers as they did it very slowly. Naruto was mesmerized when they were done. Even if he's seen it before, seeing what he saw from the people that he loved was just different. The three of them then moved over to the couch that was in the bedroom as they began to have some foreplay with one another. Anko cupped Ino's chest and she sat on Ayame's face as she started to go down on her. Ino took initiative as she positioned herself between Ayame's legs as both of their lower regions met, and they started to do things to one another. Ino moved as she began to kiss Anko. Naruto was extremely aroused at the sight as his erection felt as though it was just going to burst through his pants. Ayame's tongue brushed against Anko's lower regions, causing her to jump a little, but Ayame held her by the legs. Ayame and Ino jerked at the same time as that happened to them. Anko took a finger and dug it into Ayame's lower area as she let out a deep moan. Naruto saw this and shook his head. He could tell this was going to turn into a competition between the two older women. Anko curled both fingers that was inside of Ayame, making contact with a sensitive spot as Ayame came, soaking Anko's hands. Light work. Ayame heard this and immediately defended. That only happened because it was double stimulated. Ino saw what was happening and she was not about to get dragged into their little competition of who can make who come first competition. She got up and turned her attention to Naruto, who was still chained to the bed by seals. She saw the bulge in his pants and it only got her more aroused. She walked over before crawling up to him on the bed as she pressed her nude body to his as she ripped off his button-up collar shirt. Naruto always found this amusing. Everyone seems to enjoy tearing his shirts off in bed. Ino rubbed her sex against his groin as she began to kiss and suck on his neck, attempting to give him a hickey and put her mark on him. She then felt a pair of hands grip her rear end and she gasped and sat up to see Naruto was free. She was baffled. How did he get free? Naruto smirked as he ran a finger on the back of his teeth. Anti-seal level 10. Ino was a little disappointed, but it vanished at his explanation. The two of them then heard a deep and throaty moan as they looked over. The sound had came from Anko, surprisingly. Ayam had her head in between Anko's wet thighs, with a shit-eating grin on her face, as she went to work pleasuring her. She also had four of her fingers going, well, four fingers pleasuring her as well, forcing her to climax. Naruto and Ino then focused back on each other. The two began to kiss and do what couples do. And soon, Ino began to grind on Naruto through his pants as she began to stain them. And soon, Naruto's pants were gone and Ino lay between his legs as she looked at his erection. Alright guys, from here it only gets more explicit and more graphic, and it turns into just Naruto and Ino to Naruto, Ino, and Anko. So I'm going to have to skip the rest of this and fast forward, so just bear with me for a little bit. Alright guys, I skipped that extremely long lemon, so let's get back to it. Time skip. 1 week later, Sasuke smiled as Tazunimi and Inari walked out of the house to go to the store. Sasuke then felt the wind shift in the house as his smile fell. Now this is something I never saw coming. I never knew you would come here. Nor did I know you would fall in love with Tazunimi, Sasuke. Sasuke's hand slowly moved to his sword. Are you here to take my head, Naruto? Naruto simply chuckled as he hopped off of the windowsill and into the house. If you asked me this before I knew what I know now, my answer would have been yes. But considering the fact that you are about to become a father, Sasuke, I won't be fighting you. And on top of that, you saved my life when I was in need. So, no, I'm not here for your head. But I will ask if you can come back without a fight. Sasuke turned to face him. How do you know Tazunimi is pregnant? Naruto was visibly shocked at this. Sasuke, I wasn't talking about Tazunimi. Sasuke then stepped back. Who? Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder. Hana and Hinata are both pregnant with your child. Sasuke remembered the event with Hinata. It was kind of a disappointment. Their child would not be born from love, but by manipulation. And Hana's child would be born from Inuzaka instinct to fuck the most dominant figure. Sasuke, without you, Hinata and Hana will end up as single parents. Do you really want to put your flesh and blood through that? Sasuke immediately said and got to his feet. Sasuke, the emotions I felt radiating from you when I arrived is something I've never thought I would feel from you. You were actually happy. You didn't even seem that happy when you were with Hana. Sasuke smiled. I really like her. No, I love her, actually. She's my fiance now. Naruto smiled. You and me both, Sasuke. The only difference is that I'm marrying multiple women to restore both my clans, and I love each woman that I plan to marry. Sasuke smiled. I see you're not ignorant anymore. Naruto punched Sasuke in the chest for that comment. Sasuke chuckled. I'll go back with you willingly, but only if Tazunimi and Inari are willing to come with me. Time skip. 11 months later, Naruto paced back and forth nervously in the hospital ward. Sasuke chuckled at him as he held his firstborn son Aizen Uchiha. That was birthed by Hana Inuzaka. Hinata was also holding their secondborn of Sasuke. a little girl that was around 2 months old named Arion Uchiha. Tsunemi was at home in the Uchiha compound tending to her newborn of 6 weeks. A girl named Neveya Uchiha, Ino, Tamari, Shisui, and Hanabi were all in the world as well. Sasuke spoke. Naruto, I know this is a big day for you and Nanko, but please calm down just a little bit. Just then, the door to the room opened and Shizune walked out along with Tsunade as they looked at Naruto. Well, go on, brat, said Tsunade. Naruto slowly approached. As he slowly put a hand on the door, Tsunade slapped his back and laughed as he jumped. Ease up, Naruto. It may be your first child, but don't approach like some coward. Naruto opened the door and walked in to see Anko holding a small bundle in his arms. Naruto walked over as Anko extended the newborn baby boy. Naruto instantly fell in love with the child. As a smile formed on his face, Naruto already knew what he was going to name the child. Ashura Namikaze. Meanwhile, Itachi walked through the streets with Kurenai as the two held hands. Kurenai rubbed the baby bump that she was sporting. With Yugao, she walked into a jewelry shop to purchase an engagement ring. As she smiled, thinking of Shisui, she remembered when she used to tease him, and then the moment that she fell for him in the war. The way that everyone described him, how he just stood on top of the Hokage tower with the sun behind him and his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan activated. From what she heard from then on, she just had to have him. With Raya, she finally gave in and decided to go on a date with Guy. He had been pestering her, so she finally gave in to the youthful Jonin. In another part of the village, Fu had a huge smile on her face. She was just promoted to Jonin commander after she was brought back to Konoha after some time of mental rehabilitation. And Kumo, Yugito sat behind a desk in the Raikage's office. She was going to do this job for a few more months, and then she was passing the hat and she wouldn't look back. Her husband, Kakashi, then walked in and gave her a small smile. She didn't marry him by choice. It was arranged by the Leaf to keep them allied. But to her surprise, she ended up falling for him simply because he was able to best her in a spar and in that fight that they had in the sand. Even when she went full two tails, his strength is what attracted her to him. In Iwa, Kuratsuchi signed another paper before she dropped her pen inside. You're finally finished. The female Tsuchikage jumped and held her chest. Damn it, Shino-kun. Stop doing that. Shino said nothing. Your stealth is off the charts, Koi. But is it necessary to do it around me? Shino gave a smile. I was part of the stealth division in the war for a reason. I was also one of Lord Jiraiya's best spies. Kuratsuchi smiled as she stood and pressed herself to Shino. You know, Koi, your stealth is only a part of the reason why I fell for you. She stood on her toes and kissed him. In Suna, Gaara stood in front of Konan as he took a deep breath before getting down on one knee. Konan went wide-eyed as she covered her mouth with her hands. There was no way this was happening. She then saw him open a black box as a diamond ring shined in the light. Time skip 3 years later. Naruto stood in the underground base of Anbu HQ. Sai front and center. Sai appeared in a shunshin. On a knee, Naruto smiled and placed a hand on his shoulder. Sai, you know, you know that situations at home are getting more serious, right? So as of now, I'm promoting you to Anbu Commander. Meanwhile, at the Uzumaki Namikaze compound, Anko was playing with her son Ashura. He had her eyes and dirty blonde hair. He also had her nose, but other than that, he looked like her husband. Ino then came in with her 1-year-old son, Inoichi. He looked like her, but with Naruto's hair. The two parents began to conversate over clan matters before Tamari, Hanabi, and Ayame walked in. They had smiles on their faces. Tamari was 4 months pregnant, yet Hanabi was 5 months. Ayame, however, she found out that she was unable to have kids. But Naruto didn't care. His words were, "Even if you can't give me a son or daughter, it won't change the way I feel about you." Tamari then spoke. "Did you guys hear the news? Naruto's retiring as the Anbu Commander, and he's going to be spending more time at home to help all of us." Just then, there was a blue sparkle of lightning as Naruto formed from the lightning. Finally, now I can focus 100% of my time with my new family. But guys, I'm going to end it off right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it, hit that bell icon, and turn on post notifications so you can know when I upload. But like I said earlier, don't be sad, don't be mad, be glad. Yes, this W series is coming to an end, but that only means more better W series will be coming in to replace this one. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.